If you wanted to start making your own clothes but didn't know how, I think I have the perfect project for you. For me, the easier pattern, the better. Sometimes it takes so long to measure everything in the beginning where it just kills the vibe of sewing and I don't want to do it anymore. This pattern is super simple. I tried to make it as beginner friendly as possible and it took me approximately 2 hours to finish everything all together. If it is something you want to make, welcome to my beginner friendly pajama set tutorial. I'm starting off this video by sketching the initial ideation of the design. I was really inspired by super cute Pinterest PJ sets. I wanted to have ruffles and I wanted to be super cloudy, like flowy design. I like to put my finished sketches on the wall to better visualize the design and just set the whole mood for sewing. One of my favorite places on earth is the fabric store in my hometown. Honestly, I go there every single time I'm back, at least twice a week, to just see what new fabrics they have and get some more sewing inspiration. Threads and rubber bands. Let me show you everything that I bought from the fabric store. For this pajama set, I am choosing a rib knit fabric. I love working with rib knit because it's super stretchy and it is always forgiving me all of my measurement mistakes. As I mentioned earlier, the pattern for this design is super simple. Before you get overwhelmed with the whole pattern, let's just start with the top first. A little disclaimer is that I'm not a professional pattern maker and there are a lot of things that can be improved and changed, but this is how I do it. I divided the top pattern in 4 stages. First stage is we're cutting out a strip that is 25 centimeters high and the total length is 80 centimeters. This strip we're gonna fold in 2 and it's gonna be our first layer. The strip is gonna have one seam that is gonna be at the back. For the second stage, we need to cut out the shorter skirt and it's gonna be 2 pieces in total, the back and front, so it means we're gonna have 2 seams. Stage 3 is the same, just a longer skirt, and again front and back are the same. Stage 4 are the sleeves, and initially it is a flat pattern that is later on going to be modified with the use of rubber band. Fun fact is that I often cut out the pattern intuitively and then I measure it afterwards, and this is what I'm doing right now. Don't try it at home. It is often a very bad idea and I waste my favorite fabric for this. It's like a habit now that I am trying to get rid of. Once we have all the pieces, it's time to prepare our workspace to sew them together. From our pattern, first stage we have 1 seam, second stage we have 2 seams, third stage 2 seams, and lastly the sleeve I'm also sewing the main seam. Fast forward to all the individual pieces being done and putting them all together. Note, I forgot to mention that we need to cut out 2 half moons on both sides of the top for the sleeves. My next step was to sew together the top and 2 bottom skirts. The trick here was to constantly stretch the top because the total length of it is shorter than of the skirts. Once that's done, I started working on the sleeves, and now I'm gonna sew them together with the half moons. Once the sewing base is over, I am gonna just put it on a mannequin to see how it all looks together. And now it's time for adding rubber bands and ruffle detailing. The top is halfway done. I need to do the sleeves now. So what I'm planning to do is I'm planning to have a rubber band on the sleeve to make it look like this. This is what I'm going to do now. This is the approximate length of the rubber band, so it's almost half the width of the sleeve. So I got out 2 pieces of the rubber band of the same length, and I also need to do shorts, but unfortunately this is all of the rubber band that I have left, so I need to go and buy more. As I'm sewing the sleeve, I am pulling the rubber band while keeping the main fabric same. Here is the current progress, and if you're wondering how I made this ruffle at the top, I'm gonna show you exactly how, since I'm making the same one for the bottom skirts. The thing is that I preferred a bit shorter, and here I'm cutting approximately 1.5 to 2 centimeters of the bottom skirt. The secret for this ruffle technique is the right setting. I'm using the smallest zigzag that my sewing machine has, and I'm having it on 5. What I'm doing is I'm stretching the fabric a lot as I sew. You can see I'm stretching it and I'm sewing the zigzag along the corner. Once our top is ready, it's time to start making the shorts. I have showed the pattern previously, but here it is again. Final front and back pieces for the shorts, and now we're ready to sew them together. Next step might seem a bit tricky, but once you get it, it's going to be really easy to sew any type of pants, shorts, and anything like that. So what we need to do is we take one front piece and one back piece, and we sew them together by the big seams. So this seam and this one, the long one. And we repeat the same with this second leg. So we will get 2 legs, which will have one front and one back piece. What is important is that you're supposed to have one left leg and the other one right leg. So you are supposed to sew them differently. Right now, I made a huge mistake and I made 2 legs that are the same, and those are both left legs. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut out the seams and sew it the other way around. Well, this has happened sometimes. That's why you gotta be attentive and careful and not that confident like I was. I just rushed it a bit and I didn't even think about it. Now I have to do this extra work to fix the mistake that I did, but it's part of the learning curve. Once I fix that horrible mistake, our next step is to twist one leg inside out and put it through the other leg. So now I'm gonna sew this seam. Once we have this huge pair of shorts, don't get scared. We're gonna make them smaller by sewing on the rubber. So while I'm gonna be sewing it on, I'm really gonna be stretching it. But first, before attaching the rubber, I want to make a little belt at the top. So I'm just gonna bend maybe like 3 centimeters. So I'm gonna make a seam like this, and then I'm gonna attach the rubber around here, all over the waist and all over each leg as well. A little bit. I'm gonna attach it around here in the middle, and I'm really gonna stretch it as I sew. See how it creates this super stretchy waistband. You can see the shorts turn out to be super long. It's because we're gonna make another seam, both legs, and then we're gonna add the rubber bands to scrunch them, same way we did with the waistband. Our last step is adding my favorite ruffles. As I showed earlier, I'm just using zigzag while I stretch the fabric out to make this ruffle effect on all edges.